Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lauren. For those of you who are new, I go by Locks by Lauren on Instagram, and this week I'm going to be showing you some transformations using some extensions. So stay tuned. So this next client of mine is Michelle, and she is a longtime friend of mine. She has pretty fine texture, so we're going to be putting in some tape-in extensions in her hair and relightening her roots. So we opted for tape-in extensions just so that they're light and more comfortable for her head. They lay flat to the head, so out of all the extensions, I feel like they're probably the most comfortable to wear. So there, I'm just lighting up her roots and using 20 volt and lightener and separating each section with cotton to prevent any overlapping and damage. So I start in the back and then work my way towards the front, leaving out the hairline for the last part. And the reason why I like to start applying the lightener in the back is so that if the back processes a little bit quicker and is done first, I'm able to rinse that out before the front so that I don't over process her hair, because I usually don't change the level of developer when I do my lightener retouches. I'll just do the same volume all over the head, and sometimes I like to just rinse out the back if it processes quicker because I start there anyways. And here you can see that I'm taking pretty thin paper thin slices with each section and only applying the lightener to her regrowth to make sure that I'm not overlapping and to fully saturate her regrowth. And here I do her hairline and take even thinner sections to make sure that I'm not overlapping, and just being really cautious and mindful that these hairs are a lot more fragile than the rest of the head. When mixing up my lightener, I like to mix my lightener about a 1:2 ratio, so I will put about 50 grams of powder to 100 grams of developer, and that way that usually will cover the whole head, and by the time I get to the end I won't have to mix anymore. So when I get to this hairline section, the lightener isn't as strong and it's a little bit more gentle around the hairline. So while Michelle's roots are processing, I went ahead and started prepping her extensions, and I dipped them in warm water with Pulp Riot's Barcelona purple shampoo, and this helps tone and makes it that nice icy color. I got these extensions in the lightest blonde possible, so they just had like a little bit of warmth to them, and so this was like perfect. I just put them in warm water with the purple shampoo. I probably did maybe like a palm size of purple shampoo to like the amount of water that you see here, and it was a good ratio. I definitely highly recommend that you shake the water and mix the water in purple shampoo before you dip the extension so that there aren't any blotchy pieces. So here you can see that I've rinsed off the back, and I'm just checking the front to make sure that it's ready and just kind of smearing off that excess product to make sure that the level is right. And here is her color finished. We had toned her with Pulp Riot's Icy Toner and blow dried her before applying the extensions. So now it's time to apply her tape-ins, and when I do her sectioning for her tape-ins, I like to make sure that they're a little bit slanted. That way, when she puts her hair up into a ponytail or a bun, they lay flat to the head and prevent it from the edges from sticking out all funny. And I like to also section these very first pieces a little bit away from the hairline so that you don't see them also when she puts her hair up. So I kind of test it out. I'll lift the hair and make sure that none of the extensions are peeking out and it's enough hair around the hairline to cover the extensions before I apply them. And there I had already applied the first half of the first sandwich, and I'm just gently picking out the excess hair that isn't sticking to that first half of the sandwich, and then I go ahead and clip that up and apply the second half of the sandwich together. And again, Michelle's hair is a bit on the finer side, so I like to just take my time and work pretty slow to make sure that I'm not tugging or pulling, and trying to make my sections as clean as possible. After I apply that second half of the sandwich, I like to pinch the tape-ins to make sure it's nice and secure and tight. Here you can see as I work my way towards the top, each extension above the last row is a little bit off to the side and not directly on top. This way it creates that bricolage effect and fills any holes that the client may have in their hair and just creates a much more fuller and natural look with the extensions. And here's Michelle's after with the tape-ins, and look how beautiful it blends in with her natural. You can't even really tell that she has extensions in, and it looks awesome on her. I just love how shiny these extensions are, and look how well the hair was toned with just purple shampoo and water, and her hair is nice and icy. So next I'm going to be showing you how I highlighted these extensions. My client wanted just a super subtle warm highlight, and whenever I highlight extensions I always do a test strand because you never know if it's real hair or processed hair or how it'll take. So there I just did a quick test strand. I used lightener with 20 vol and it lightened pretty well, and she just wanted a nice warm brown, so I was just planning to lift her to about a level 7 and then tone her back down with some Pulp Bright liquid demis. And here you can see I just placed my hand over the foil to mimic some body heat because it was a little bit cold and I wanted it to process a little bit quicker. So there you can see the test strand lightened pretty well. The hair felt great and I lifted it to about a level 7, 6, 7. And so I went ahead and started to highlight the rest of the extension. And there I'm taking kind of a medium chunky weave, but slightly separated because she just wanted a soft, subtle highlight to her extensions. Nothing too crazy, just kept it more on the natural side. And even though she wants something more subtle, the reason why I wanted to take a slightly chunkier weave rather than a baby light is because these extensions are on the wavy side. So when she washes them and lets them air dry, I don't want the highlights to get lost. A lot of times when you're highlighting curly hair, it's important to keep your highlights a little bit more on the thicker side because it will curl up, and sometimes if you take a baby light or a smaller weave, it can get lost in the curls. So whenever I color extensions, I like to really make sure that I'm fully saturating the hair. So there I just applied 2 foils onto the extension so that I'm not crunching up the extension, spreading out the hair as much as possible so that I can make sure that I'm really saturating every little hair, because if you miss a spot, you can definitely tell when coloring extensions. So yeah, I like to just make sure that I make my lightener a little bit on the thicker side and just really saturate there. Just brush like side to side and make sure that you're really getting that underneath, and just I like to just double check, cross check, and make sure that it's all getting colored. And also a key with extensions is to make sure that there aren't any harsh lines. So there I'm just feathering up at that root because again, you can definitely see harsh lines when applying color to extensions. And here I'm just placing foil right on top of the other foil and not bending or folding the foil at all to make sure that I get a really nice even lift with these extensions because it is a bit longer. And there again, just leaving my hands on to create some body heat to speed up the process. And after I was applying, I just left it alone for a bit and checked every about 15 to 20 minutes to make sure that it was lightening well and nothing funky was happening with the lightener, and just making sure that it didn't get too light. So today I'm going to be toning with Pulp Bright's Liquid Demi line, and I was lucky enough to get a box of their colors, and this is what it came in. It's such a cute packaging. I love the artwork that is on the color. It just makes it more fun to use, and honestly this Liquid Demi line is probably one of the best because it smells amazing and it makes the hair feel really conditioning. So it came with this really cool cheat sheet. It's like a kind of a swatch color chart to show all of the shades in the line, and it also has some info that you may want to know about the color line and how to mix with clear and all that. So with these extensions, I'm going to be dipping in with these shades here. I'm going to use 6.0 there and pick up some 7.4 to create a nice medium warm brown. Also, with these new colors from Pulp Riot, it does come with a specific developer made for these colors. I know Pulp Riot, you could use the same developer with all of their other products, but this is the first product that they've come out with a specific developer. So it's important to use the developer with the color so that you get that awesome consistency. And here is the end result on this technique on how to highlight extensions. And there you can see that nice, beautiful, shiny tone using the Pulp Riot Liquid Demis. I use 6.0 and 7.4 for the tone. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in and watching this week's video. If you guys have any video requests, leave me a comment down below. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up on this video and subscribe to my channel if you are new. And I will talk to you guys next week.